A very good evening, online participants. Any doubts, guys, from the last session? Is everything clear? Okay, right, fine. So if no doubts are there, then we'll try to proceed with today's agenda. So today let's try to focus more upon aggregate functions and group by concept. Okay. So what are the different types of aggregations available and what is group by concept and what are all the things that we can do with it? We'll try to discuss now. So first thing first, let's go with aggregate functions topic. Any idea about aggregate functions? Basically, we are having 5 aggregate functions and those 5 aggregate. Okay, by the way, what is this? Single line comment. And what is this? Multi-line comment. We are having 5 functions available: sum, min, max, average, count, star, then slash. Sum, total, min, minimum value, max, maximum value, average, average value, count, count. Okay. So the first thing that we all need to focus on here is we are having 5 aggregate functions. When to use, where to use is something that we need to consider. Earlier we discussed aggregate functions are nothing but you'll be getting total lump sum value. If you are considering a column called sales, you will be taking average. You will be taking sum. You will be taking minimum, maximum as well as average. So first thing first, let's go with each and every aggregate function in detail and let's try to come up with a conclusion. What are all the things that we can do? Select star from my EMP. If you are utilizing this table, you are having a column called salary column. Now, first thing first, the question is very simple. How many rows are been there in that salary column? 106 rows are there. If 106 rows are been there in this particular column called salary, and if you are trying to focus on performing an aggregation called sum, you'll get one individual value, right? Total. And what is that one individual value that you need to focus on? So select sum of salary as, let me explain you, from my EMP. By default, you are having a table called my EMP table. There is a column called salary column. And 106 records are been there in that column, guys. How many records? 106 records are been there in that column called salary column. Now, the requirement is very simple. If I want total salary of all the employees working in that particular company, what is the total aggregate function? Sum only. So obviously select sum of salary from table name myEMP. Obviously on that particular column called salary, you are just performing an aggregation called sum. So you'll be taking total lump sum salary from the table called myEMP table. And then simply select the entire code, just click on run button. Now how many data points that you're getting? Only one. As we earlier discussed also, if you remembered in Power BI, there we discussed about one visualization called card. In card, you'll get only one number. Or else, try to think in the other way. We discussed about DAX expressions new measure. Right? So in new measure also, we discussed about the same option. Yes or no? So there also we discussed about that option called new measure. With the help of that new measure, you selected the data and you just added it. In new measure only generates one individual scalar aggregated data point value. Whereas if you are working with new column, a new column is going to be created for an existing table. New table, a separate table itself is being created along with a normal table. Okay. So these are the different types of requirements available. So that is something you need to focus on. Okay. So what is the first thing? We discussed about sum aggregate function. Now I'll try to explain you one more small syntax here. What is the name, header name that we are getting here? Sum salary. Is it looking good? No. So instead of having a column header name as sum of salary, you can just change it to as total salary. That means whatever the column name that you are getting earlier, instead of this, now you are getting a name called total salary. Now select this entire code and just click on run button and just execute. Now, what is the name that you are getting? Total salary instead of sum of salary. And this total salary itself is nothing but we call it with a name, alias name. What is it? Alias name. So with the help of this alias name, we can utilize performing all the different types of aggregation. If you want to provide any neat header name for any column, simply utilize that keyword called as keyword and then provide that name. As simple as it. Okay. Right. In the same way, if I want to perform average salary, total how many employees are been there? 106. Anyone remembered what is the minimum salary? Maybe 2200. Maximum is 24,000. And my question is, what is the average salary of all the 106 employees working in that company? Now, what is the syntax? Select average of salary. Let's simply go with normal syntax, then we'll try to understand it. From my EMP, semicolon, select the entire code, just run it. 6,456 is the average salary that you are getting for the table. Now, instead of this, okay, instead of this, if you want to provide something name, the name that your header name that you are getting is average of salary. You just want to give some meaningful name. I don't want that parenthesis kind of thing. Simply what you can do here itself, you can utilize a keyword called as average salary from IMP. Select the code and just run it. Now the column header name itself has been provided as average salary. And you're getting average salary number for all the 106 employees. Okay. So in the same way, just try to go with min, max as well as count. So try to complete all the 5 aggregate functions: sum, min, max, average, count. Okay. Same if you want to go with any aggregation like min, select min salary as minimum salary from my EMP. Now in the same way, if you want to select maximum salary, select maximum salary as maximum salary. That means alias name that you need to provide something. In the same way, the maximum something you're getting is 24,000. And in the same way, if you want to see count, select count of salary as number of employees. Simply I can provide it a name as number of employees from which table? My MP table. So the number of employees working in this company is 106. Simple. Now, let's try to go with a concept called group by. So before proceeding with that group by, just try to provide me the order of execution of clauses. Hmm. 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 Right. Select from where, group by, having, order by, limit, offset. These are the order of execution of clauses available while you're working with any SQL code. So while you're working with a concept called group by, then you need to refer to the section on what basis you're trying to group the data. Based on department or based on job ID, that is something we need to consider. So first thing first, let's try to understand one more important keyword here called distinct keyword. Select distinct. There is a column called department ID. I'm providing department ID, distinct keyword on department ID from table my EMP. Simply provide semicolon. Now, first thing first, let's try to understand what exactly is it. If you are talking about this particular table, select star from my EMP. You are having this column called department ID. Here, if you can see, department 90 itself is repeated for thrice. Department 60 itself is repeated for 5 times again. What does it mean? Multiple employees are working in the same department. If you're taking it into consideration, the simple thing that what you can focus on here is multiple employees are been working in same department. If there is a department 90 repeated for 3 times, it's nothing but 3 employees are working in department 90. If 60 department, 5 employees are there, 5 employees are working in department 60. Now, how many employees? I don't want. How many times it is repeated? I don't want. What are the unique departments available in the table? That is what I'm interested in. If sales is repeated for 5 times, I don't want. I only want sales. If marketing department itself is repeated for 20 times, it's okay. But I need to showcase it as only one time. So then what you can do here is select what is the function that we need to go with? Distinct. Okay, here we already utilized it. Select distinct. On which column you want to perform? Department ID from a table my EMP. How many rows you are getting? On which column? What does it mean? 11 distinct, 11 unique departments are there. So if you want to order the data even more effectively, here itself I'll try to utilize a syntax called order by department ID. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. So total 11 departments are been there in this particular data set. And based upon each and every department, you are getting total sales. Now, how we are going to do that? Select star from, see, 11 departments are there. If you are talking about one department, in one department itself, multiple employees might be working. Got my point? If you are talking about a department called 10, in 10 itself, if say for example, 5 employees are working, I want to perform total salary for all employees working in that particular department. Like that, I want each and every department wise. Earlier, if you are performing sum, that sum is performing for all the 106 employees. Now, I want total salary based on each and every department. For sales, what is the total salary? For marketing, what is the total salary? For IT programming, what is the total? Like that, I want now. So for that syntax is select. You need to provide that grouping column department ID, comma. What is the aggregated column? Sum. On which column? Salary. You can give an alias name as total salary from which table? MyMP. Now I am utilizing the syntax called group by. Group by based on which group? Department ID. Semicolon. Select this entire code. Just click on execute button. Now here itself, within group by, if you want to order the data, order by department ID 2. And then select this entire code. Click on execute. So department wise, what is the total salary? You can get that. And how many rows you are getting now? Why 11 departments are there? For each and every department, you are getting total salary. In Power BI also we discussed aggregate functions are possible without using group by, but group by if you are using aggregate functions are mandatory. Here we are grouping. For that grouping, we are performing aggregate functions. Earlier, we utilized aggregate functions, but here we utilized any group by concept? No. But here we are utilizing group by concept. That is the reason we are working with aggregations. Clear? You just check this out. Done. Okay, one more question. Do one thing. Along with that, try to focus on performing average salary, minimum salary, maximum salary, and count of employees working in same query. Same query. Or else if you want to go with different queries, try to create 4 queries. Anything is fine. One thing I'll try to do, 4 queries, try to do separately. One with department-wise average salary, the other one department-wise sum salary, the other one department-wise minimum salary, department-wise maximum salary, department-wise number of employees. Done. Okay. Yeah. What happened, Aksha? Okay, see, while you are working with any group by concept, what usually happens is you will be taking group by column. You will be taking this group by column. And just beside to this, you will be taking your aggregated column. And this aggregated column itself is your total salary. You are utilizing an aggregation called sum, and on that you are performing something called total salary from my EMP. Then you are trying to perform a concept called group by on a column called department ID. And then finally you are ordering the data based on department ID column again. So what is the grouping column that you need to select that needs to be provided between select and from? And just beside to that, you need to select what is the aggregated column that you need to select. And then from which table? And then finally, you need to perform group by. On what basis you are grouping the data? Department ID. And finally, you need to order it based on department ID. So automatically, if you're executing the syntax based upon department ID, you are getting total salary available. If you are talking about this particular department 20, 19,000 you are getting. See, if you want to cross check whether this is the total salary for department 20, how you are going to cross check it? Select star from my EMP where department ID equals to 20. What is the total salary that we are getting for department 20? 19,000. Just execute this code. How many employees are there in department 20? 13,000 plus 6,000? 19,000. In that way, you can cross check your data if you want. So what is the question that I asked you to do? Department wise, all the 5 aggregate functions. Maybe you had done it in individual basis, right? So same, we can do it in the same code itself. How? Select department ID column. Okay, department ID column. Just beside to the department ID column, the first aggregated column that you'll go with is sum of salary as total salary. And then you'll go with min of salary as minimum salary. And then max of salary as maximum salary. Then average of salary as average salary. Count of salary as you can count is the only aggregate function which works with both numeric as well as non-numeric. Remember, instead of salary, let's try it out with employee ID or first name. Okay, as number of employees working. From which table? My MP table. Select the entire code. Just click on the run button. And now you'll be getting the error. Okay, what is the mistake that you're getting? So we haven't utilized group by. After my MP table, just utilize that syntax group by based on group. Which group? Department ID. Just utilize the syntax, select the code and just execute it. Again, I want it to be ordered based upon department ID. So what I usually do after group by department ID, I'll put something called order by department ID. Here you are not getting in an orderly way, right? Departments. Now I want that order data, then simply select this and just try to execute. See now how beautifully you are getting this entire representation. For each and every department, you can see what is the total salary, what is the minimum salary, what is the maximum salary, what is the average salary, and how many number of employees working. So neat count of all aggregations and groupings, everything itself has been available here. Representable way. Chalo. One more question to everyone. I want top 3 departments based on highest salary. Question is clear? I want top 3 departments based on highest salary. Hmm? 80, 50, 90 based on highest. Ten, 20, 30. Maximum salary. Okay. So the first thing, data set is there again. The first thing the requirement is I want top 3 departments, not based on department sorting, but based on highest salary, highest total salary from that particular department. So syntax, select, first you'll go with department ID and you'll go with some aggregate function obviously. And you'll go with this syntax called sum of salary as total salary from my MP, and then you will group the data based on department ID. Now, what is the requirement? I want top 3 based on highest total salary. Now, total salary is the column available. Order by total salary. Yes or no? Guys, understanding what I'm trying to explain here? See, select department ID. You are selecting department. Based on department, you are trying to perform total salary. This is clear, I guess, everyone? From table name MyMP, you are grouping based on department ID. Till now also it's clear, I guess. Now, you don't want top 3 departments based on department column. You want those 3 departments based on highest total salary. Now, what is the total salary column? Total salary column. Now, on the total salary, if you are trying to perform order by, you will get highest to lowest. And that is what we are doing, order by total salary in descending order. Now, I want top 3 departments based on total highest salary. So, based on this, you are trying to put limit 3. And simply select this column, semicolon, and just try to execute. You need to get these 3 departments. 80, 50, 90 are the top 3 departments based upon the highest salary combined all the employees. Okay. 1, 2 questions again you'll solve. Okay. Try to make a note of it. The first question is job ID wise, average salary, maximum salary. Second question is I want top 3 job IDs based upon the average salary. I want top 3 job IDs based on the average salary. And the third question is I want last 2 departments with least amount of employees working in that particular department. Lowest count. The third question. Lowest count of employees working in departments. The last 2. You are having 11 departments. I want only those 2 departments where the employees count is very less. These are the 3 questions, guys. Completed? Then, okay, let's try to solve all the three questions one more time. The first one, job price, average salary as average salary, comma, max of salary as maximum salary from my EMP, then group by job ID. That's it. Semicolon, select the entire code, just run it. So based on each and every job ID, you're getting average salary and maximum salary. Now, let's go with the second part. What is the second question? Top three based on, okay, syntax, provide me the syntax. Select job ID, average salary as average salary from IMP, group by job ID, order by average salary, descending, limit 3. Select the code, run it, and you'll get that output that what you're looking for. And these are the top three job IDs based upon the highest top three average salary. Okay, and what's the last question, guys? Hmm. Okay, syntax. Select department ID. Count. Anything that you can go, I'll go with employee ID as number of employees working from my MP, group by department ID, order by number of employees, limit 2. These are the two departments where employees count is only 1. In the same way, if I want to see what is that one particular department with highest number of employees working, count of employees working, limit 1, Here, order by DSC. 50 is the department and number of employees is 45. And this is how we can get the output. Clear, guys? Okay. So let's try to focus on doing one problem statement again. So let's go with again DDL as well as DML one last time. So tomorrow again we'll go with a new topic, joins. Today's topic is clear, aggregate functions, group everything. So then we'll try to go with 1 to 2 questions, problem statements on DDL as well as DML. So that from tomorrow onwards, we can go on with a stretch of joins as well as union topic. So first try to create one simple table. So something like, so for example, healthcare, based on healthcare domain, try to create one simple table. Okay. So what kind of columns that you'll include? Okay, you want to go with patients date table? Okay, then go with patients table. Patient ID, patient name, and what is the date of admission. For that, you need to go with the data type date, date of admission, and what is the room number, and who is the doctor, consultant, and what is the diagnostic, okay, part, what is the disease. So try to create 5 to 6 columns and try to make sure include at least 6 to 7 records into the table. Once the table itself has been created, just update me. Let's try to go with some manipulation techniques on it. Make sure once you are completing it, provide it the syntax in the chat. Offline, I'll come to you. Online, make sure try to provide that syntax in the chat window so that I'll review it. So 5 minutes, try to create a table and insert the records. So once if you completed that particular code, try to provide that same code in the chat window so that I'll try to review it. Online participants. Inserted the data. Done? Okay. Now, we utilized in operator in select statement. That means if you want to read multiple records, you can utilize in operator and you can just get that part. But instead of that, try to delete multiple records and try to update multiple records with the same syntax now. Okay. So the whole purpose of creating a table now is that we utilized in operator with DQL, but we haven't utilized in operator with DML, right? So now just try to utilize DML now. Try to just update and just try to delete those things. Just try to update multiple records with the same syntax. Try to delete multiple records with the same syntax in operator. Right, exactly, Soumya. Perfect. Then, so simple syntax. If you want to fetch records from the table, select star from table where column name in, you'll put department in 2030, something like that. If you want to delete the records from those departments, delete from table name where department ID in, you'll provide departments. If you want to update the departments, update table name set, you'll provide that value where department in, you'll provide departments. So updating those values based on department or deleting the rows from the department, it's up to you. Based on your requirement, you can work with it. Clear, guys, everyone? So I hope pretty much clear with group by concept, aggregate functions, DDL, DML, DQL, where clause. So then tomorrow, let's try to focus on understanding joins topic. Along with joins itself, we'll try to cover one more topic called union concept. So there we'll try to discuss how to connect tables and how to join tables and all those things. Yes, having is something we haven't discussed. We'll discuss having and then we'll go with joins topic. Okay. So that having, it might take good 15 minutes of time. So we'll try to understand and then we'll go with the new topic. Hmm? రాదు ముందు వస్తుంది గ్రూప్ బై తర్వాత వస్తుంది సెలెక్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ వేర్ గ్రూప్ బై హ్యావింగ్ మనం గ్రూప్ బై తోటే వాడతాం అందుకే హ్యావింగ్ కంప్లీట్ చేసుకొని జాయిన్స్కి వెళ్ళిపోదాం రేపు ఓకేనా ఓకే దెన్ లెట్స్ కనెక్ట్ టుమారో online participants. Okay, let's connect tomorrow then. Okay, bye guys. Bye guys. Bye.